All right, welcome everybody again. This is the October 11th edition of the NCAA NFL Weekly Review and Preview. I have the first repeat guest of the year. Steve is back again on this early Friday morning. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, Charles, doing well, even though you dragged me out of bed at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I dragged myself out of bed actually too, so... we're going to start with NCAA very quickly. Not a very good slate this week. Just two ranked games. The game day game is out in Salt Lake City for Utah and Cal. What do you like in that one?
Well, I guess Utah's they've played some pretty good teams so far, and Cal's another one of those good teams that they're going to have to play. And they've passed all the tests up to this point, with flying colors. Michigan, we'll talk about them later. They're looking obviously a lot better than we might have thought early in the year. That was a good win for Utah. And then obviously the demolition of Oregon. So I like Utah in the game. The plus 7.5 scares me a little bit. I don't know about you.
It's weird because Cal, a lot of people like Cal. All of a sudden with Goff, the quarterback, he's a big NFL prospect. They got some playmakers on offense too, but Utah's good. I think Utah's pretty good. I don't know if they're top 4 playoff good, but I think at home, game day game, I think that they'll be able to cover the minus 7.5 and take care of that.
Yeah, and I think I'm probably going to go the other way on that. I think Utah wins, but I think they win closer.
Close. Okay.
So I'll take Cal on the points.
Okay, fair enough. We have to start tracking what our record was with our picks.
I was 4 or 5 in the college games last week.
You were what?
I was 4 or 5 in the college games last week.
Were you? Did I agree?
Florida Ole Miss was a not close. That was the one I missed.
I think I picked Florida in that one to cover.
Yeah, you did, but you missed on definitely the Bama Georgia game. We argued about that.
Yeah, that was bad.
And then Notre Dame Clemson. I don't remember which way you went.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
If you went Notre Dame, you missed out too. Anyway,
I'll go back and look. Okay, so we'll touch on the second game at the Big House, Northwestern, Michigan. Michigan favored by 7.5. Kind of a big number, I thought. Given Northwestern has a nice win over Stanford, obviously, and their defense is taking care of business.
And Duke.
And their defense is taking care of business since then. So I personally, even though Michigan, you see the flag, everything else, I think Northwestern will keep this within a touchdown because I think this is one of those like 10-6 games possibly.
Yeah, 7.5 should be the over/under, not the spread.
Yeah.
I think you're probably right. I think Michigan probably wins this game, but I would be surprised if either team gets to 20. And, it'll, like you said, 17-13, 13-10, something like that.
Yeah, because I don't think Northwestern is very good at offense. I mean, their defense is obviously pretty good, but I don't think still that they're very good at offense. So, yeah, I think they'll cover the plus 7.5. I think Michigan wins. And then that sets up the possible game day game the following week because they got Sparty coming to town. So, it's hopefully they win because that'll be a fun week next week then if they can get Sparty. So we both
Northwestern defense is strong though.
Yeah, they're good. That's why I think it'll be like 10-6. And I think it'll have to be like a defensive play, getting a team in the field position to score that touchdown probably.
Absolutely.
So
that's what you just have to avoid the not so good offenses making a big mistake for either team in that game.
Yeah, classic Big Ten football. A lot of probably punts in opponent's territory, I believe.
Speaking of classic Big Ten football, the Badgers punted from the 33 Saturday. So,
what did you tweeted at me? Was that Minnesota punted from the other team's 40?
Yeah, it was the first drive of the game. It was like 4th and 1 from the 40 against Northwestern, and then they lost 27-0.
Yeah,
so
yeah, they got shut out.
Yeah, but they took the red shirt off Demery Croft. So,
is that the quarterback?
Yeah.
They finally gave up on Leitner.
Well, I don't know if they gave up, but Croft is going to work in there. They should have done it weeks ago. if they were going to do it. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it with college this week. No other really big games. There's a few games with a little bit of intrigue, but not enough to talk about. So we'll move right into the NFL. We'll touch on last night's game. Texans lose 27-20. A lot of things actually to talk about from that game.
What a mess.
Yeah, the Texans are a mess.
And I don't know if they can be fixed. They just keep rotating those quarterbacks in.
Yeah, I don't know.
Expecting either one of them to be different than they have always been, and they're not going to.
Yeah, I don't know if you were working, I know, so I don't know if you were paying a glared-eyed attention to the game, but Ryan Mallett's never playing again because not only did he get pulled, but the body language once he got pulled, he was not happy.
No. Well, I mean, you're not supposed to be, though. I don't think that that's necessarily a deal breaker.
But
having bad body language.
It wasn't like a concussion symptom.
Right.
Or anything. He got drilled in the ribs, and he apparently seemed to be fine, yet he sprinted off the field in a situation where they needed him to not sprint off the field.
Yeah, that was weird. Have we heard this morning? I haven't been.
No, I haven't read anything on what I think he's fine, but yeah, so that's a bad luck. So it seems like it's going to be Brian Hoyer's team. Arian Foster, first full game.
Well, even he went to the locker room.
Yeah, he with a concussion. Yeah, and he ended up coming back. He just looked hesitant running and cutting, in my opinion.
What did he have? 19 carries for like 40-some yards.
Yeah, and he had a bunch of catches. He had like 9 catches for like 70-some yards.
And that dropped for an interception early in the game.
Yeah, that hurt. So there's that. Underlining story from this game, I think, is Bill O'Brien. A lot of people liked him. I think they were 9-7 last year, kind of overachieved. Mm-hmm. He is square in the hot seat right now, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. He's another one of those. We talked about Joe Philbin last week, and he got fired already.
Yeah. Go ahead.
O'Brien, I don't know that he'll get fired before the season's out, but if things keep going like this, they lost to a team last night in the Colts that even with Andrew Luck hasn't been playing well.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost to Matt Hasselbeck.
On his
throwing to Andre Johnson with a bacterial infection.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Hasn't played a game in years. Hasn't been good since, or played consistently for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And they made a lot of bad mistakes too. Mistakes that a team that isn't very well coached makes.
The penalties last night it was insane. So many. At one point, it was 5 first downs via penalty for the Colts. I don't know. That was in the second half for sure. I don't know what that number ended up being, but so many contact, holding, roughing the passer. What? I'm looking at you.
Yeah, it seemed like that's another one. Yeah, I mean, he was a no-show.
Yeah, that's true.
And for a defense that was supposed to be, top 5, all this talk, they're a sieve. They're awful. If there wasn't a complete pass last night, there was a flag. Every play.
Yeah. And did you see what Watt said today about Andre Johnson going off?
I don't cover him or whatever. Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a team guy to me.
No, I mean commercials, Fort Minor. Remember the name, all other bullshit. Yeah, it's old. I mean, he can add the stats or whatever. He's got 4 or 5 sacks, but and I know one guy doesn't make a defense, but
you need something from him.
Yeah, he was a no-show last night, and
one hit from J.J. Watt and Matt Hasselbeck that may have ended his NFL career.
Yeah, well, he did touch him once, and it was a 15-yard penalty. So
that's true.
So O'Brien on the hot seat. Brian Hoyer still made the big mistake late in the game with possibly one of the worst throws I've ever seen.
And I was rooting for the Texans. I picked the Texans, and he threw that ball up, and I was like, well, maybe someone's running free down there. And that was That was just awful.
Atrocious. Yeah. And then Hasselbeck on the third down play, before they can even if they get a chance to get the ball back, just throws a dot to Hilton down the field, and that's that.
Maybe luck's the problem in Indy. 2-0 without him.
Does he lose his job based off injury, or is this a question?
You hate to see that happen to somebody, but I think that's a possibility at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, so there you go. Texans are a mess, in other words, and the Colts have won the division for the 18,000th straight year because everybody else sucks.
Yeah.
So
they could go 8-8 and win that division.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So we'll start. Go through some of the big games this week. Seattle, Cincinnati is the first really big one I got on here for noon. Cincinnati at home, -3. What do you think of that one?
I think at some point this season we're going to start seeing Seattle win games and Cincinnati lose games. Both those things, and even at home, I think Seattle's probably going to win this game outright. I
agree 100%. I think the pendulum is going to swing Seattle's way, like you said, and Cincinnati, as good as they are, they're going to lose eventually. They're not that good. So I think this is a big game. This is really the first tough defense that Dalton's played this year too. So we'll see. I think Seattle will win. I think it'll be like a 21-17 type of game. Another close one because I feel like that's all Seattle plays in. But
yeah, I think high 20s, 24 or 27-24, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, but so we both got Seattle winning outright.
Yeah.
Okay. Buffalo at Tennessee. Tennessee +2.5. Buffalo coming off kind of a stinker last week. Tennessee off a bye. Doesn't sound like no McCoy again. No Watkins. It doesn't sound like really either. So what do you think there?
I think McCoy being out hurts, but it doesn't kill you. Carlos Williams has obviously been running the ball pretty well.
He might be out too.
Yeah, that would be a killer.
Yeah.
That was one thing last week with our NFL games that we were operating under the illusion that Luck would play and that Jay Cutler wouldn't, and they both went the other way.
Yeah.
So I guess the injuries do play into it there. I'm a little surprised that the spread is what it is, that it's only 2.5, I guess, because Buffalo has shown flashes. They're on an every other week schedule. This is the good week.
Yeah.
I think they cover that 2.5.
Well, normally they give the home team gets like an automatic 3.
3. Yeah.
So it's really +5.5, I guess. I kind of like the Titans this year. I like Mariota. I think their defense. I think their defense is a lot better. I think that they lose by a field goal. So technically, I guess I take Buffalo to cover the 2.5. But I think it's kind of a close 24-21-ish type games. But yeah, I have Buffalo too. I think the defense, Rex against a rookie quarterback, is normally pretty good. So both in agreement on Buffalo. Okay, this is weird.
And like you said, I think that defense, Mariota, we could see some rookie quarterbacking from Mariota in this game.
Yep, I agree. Chicago at Kansas City. Kansas City -9. Bears got first win last week. Chiefs, people still kind of think they're good apparently. I'm not exactly sure. So what do you think here?
Yeah, I don't know if this is all Arrowhead effect, the 9-point spread, but I don't think they're covering it. I think I would take the Bears in the points.
Yeah, I would agree.
With Cutler.
I would agree again.
This is going to be the most boring podcast of all time, Chuck. If I'm just saying 2 sentences and you're saying I agree the whole time.
Cutler has looked really well this year.
Yeah, he's been playing well.
Fox is kind of keeping him under wraps and not letting him throw 50 times a game like Tressman did. So yeah, I think 9 points is a lot. Even at Arrowhead and Cutler,
Kansas City's not good.
No, I don't think so either. So I definitely could see this game where Forte gets 25 carries and just slows the game down, and it's, within a touchdown. So, yeah, both on Chicago +9. Washington at Atlanta. Atlanta -7.5 in the Georgia Dome. What do you think?
I think Atlanta is as real as Atlanta can ever be, if that makes any sense. I do think they're good, but not like going to win the NFC good. And I think Washington is atrocious. I think they're terrible. And you have them, it's 7.5 on your
Yeah. What do you
spread,
have?
7.5. Yeah. It's only 7 on mine, but either way, I think Atlanta probably does cover, wins by 10, 27-17.
Yeah. I actually kind of like Washington to keep this within a touchdown.
Yeah.
I think that they do enough good things defensively, and Kirk Cousins has looked like a competent NFL quarterback these last couple of weeks. Betting on Kirk Cousins would be – I don't recommend this, folks. Don't do this. But I think Washington can keep it within a touchdown. And I think –
dogs.
Yeah. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this. But so, yeah, I have Washington +7.5. So there's a first disagreement.
Yeah, there we go.
But I do think Atlanta is pretty good. I think that they'll definitely – I think Dan Quinn – compared to Mike Smith has been the key, obviously, there.
Yeah.
New Orleans at Philadelphia. Phillies -5 at home. And this is my lock of the week. Philadelphia is going to blast the Saints, I think, despite being 1-3, all the Chip Kelly hoopla. Now he's being rumored in the USC job after last night's debacle. I think Bradford did some nice things last week, started to look really good. Few long touchdown passes. Aguilar got involved. I think the Eagles win by at least a touchdown at home.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know if I would go so far as to say it's my lock of the week because they haven't shown anything that would make me, think that to this point. But I do think they're going to win by a touchdown. I don't think New Orleans is any good.
Yeah, I don't either.
As you would say, they stink.
Yeah.
And like you said, it was good to see Aguilar get some touches last week. Saw some flashes of what he can do. I'm hoping for. I think he's gonna turn into a really good receiver.
I agree.
So hopefully that was like the start of that happening last week. I think Philly wins by. I think they do win by at least a touchdown at home. And I don't think that they're as bad as they've shown. And I think New Orleans is at least as bad as they have shown.
Yeah. Well, the Eagles' defense, I think, has been really good this year, but you don't know that because they're on the field for a billion minutes of the game. So.
Yeah, the old Chip Kelly offense is not doing so hot.
Yeah. So.
Let's run. Their run and play is fast, but when you run them 3 at a time, that's tough on the defense.
Yeah, to say the least. So, both on Philly there. I think we can save the Ram-Packer game for last, so we'll go to the afternoon games, the late afternoon games. Arizona at Detroit. Detroit +3 at home. What do you think?
I think Arizona's probably going to win that game and cover that spread. Yeah. I also don't think that – I don't know what it is about the Rams playing those divisional games that, turns them into, monsters.
Giant killers, yeah.
But I think that Arizona is one of the top 4 teams in the NFC at least.
Yeah.
And I think that Detroit is still struggling, even after the
chaos on the Monday night.
Yeah, the Monday night, almost winning in Seattle.
Yeah, they're catching some tough breaks schedule-wise, though.
Oh, it's been brutal.
You go Denver Sunday night, at Seattle Monday night, then you play Arizona in back-to-back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, and those are non-division games, so they're unfamiliar, teams.
Opponents, yeah. They had to go at San Diego week 1. So I kind of feel for the Lions, to be honest with you. I think that if this was any other opponent coming off any other result, they would be fine because I think that the Lions are a lot better than 0-4.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. So does that mean you think that they're going to win?
No. I think Arizona still, because Arizona comes off a loss, Arians will have them ready. I think this could get ugly.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily going to get ugly, but I do definitely think Arizona wins it, and I think that they're getting do it by more than those 3.
Okay, so both on Arizona -3.
2 picks from Stafford this weekend.
Yeah, at least. I would say, yeah. Those guys are ball hawks. They look for the ball. Matthew and Peterson and company, yeah. Denver at Oakland. Oakland +4.5. What do you think here?
Oakland. That's what I think. I like the Raiders. We talked at length last week about Peyton Manning's rag arm, which isn't getting any better. It's not going to.
Yeah.
And Oakland, that was a tough game this weekend against Chicago.
So yeah, that's what we get for, I guess, believing in Oakland on the road. I mean, despite color play, I didn't expect that, but
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if Clausen plays that game, Oakland wins. There's there's pretty much no way around that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Cooper and Carr and Murray are just going to keep getting better. Peyton Manning's going to keep getting worse. Oh, that's the Brock Osweiler train in full effect.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Oakland in the game, but I don't think that they're going to. I actually guess I will take. I like Oakland in the game
to win.
Yeah, outright.
Okay.
It'll be close. I'm not saying they're going to blow them out.
I like Oakland +4.5 because I don't think Denver has blowout potential in them anymore. Yeah, they don't move the ball at a consistent rate.
How have they not lost any games?
That might be the best defense in the NFL.
That's very true. That is very true, and especially getting after the passer. That's what could turn things sideways for Oakland is if Carr ends up on his back
a
bunch of times, which he probably will.
Yeah,
hopefully he gets enough of those passes up to Cooper or something that
You pair Ware and Von Miller on each side, and then you have Harris, Talib, and then Ward behind you. They're as tough as it gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're not ever. I don't think they'll ever blow a team out, but I don't think that they'll ever be blown out either.
Right.
So I like Oakland +4.5. The baseball field will probably be gone by now. Correct?
It should be
because
they've been done plenty of time. I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay. So no more dirt field.
That doesn't mean the turf is going to be good though.
No, but I kind of like the baseball field for
the first couple months
of the year. Low touch.
It'd be so. It's terrible to play on. It must be.
Yeah, well, I believe that.
Can you imagine getting tackled onto an infield?
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying I'm not playing on it, so I could care less. But I'm just saying it's cool to kind of see on the TV. Not cool, but it's it's kind of funny.
A little different. Yeah. It is funny that in 2015 there's a football team playing on a baseball field in a multi-billion-dollar sport.
That place is a dump.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
The Raiders neither the Raiders nor the Athletics should play in that place.
No.
And they're both going to have to forever.
Yeah. Unless the Davis's kid gets a LA stadium, but
yeah, they might.
We'll see. Okay. New England at Dallas. Dallas is +8.5. I think the line should be +80.5.
Absolutely.
Because the Patriots literally might score 100 points this week.
They're going to destroy them. They're going to score in the 40s. Dallas is going to score in the teens, maybe.
You think Dallas scores?
Yeah, they'll score. It's hard in a game when I think New England's going to be just touchdown after touchdown. And very rarely do games happen where one team scores 8 touchdowns and the other one doesn't score any.
Yeah, I guess garbage time.
Yeah, like stuff's gonna happen. I think they'll score, but I think New England's gonna blow them out.
Yeah, I mean, if a team can score 100, I think they should try. So I think the Patriots should try just score 100 on the Cowboys because uh, the Cowboys, without, I mean, not to their fault, but they have no chance to win. I mean, if you can't beat the Saints with Drew Brees hobbled,
Oh, speaking of rag arms, last week
yeah,
with the shoulder. Oh man.
yeah. So I mean, so it's pretty. We're both on New England minus 8.5.
Yeah. I think that the lines, they're just not scared, but very rarely do they get any worse than that.
And I think
Every once in a while you'll see a line at 10 or 11, but this is about as high as they go, and I think New England's gonna kill them.
Yeah, New England was minus 13 or 14 against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago, but I think it's the Cowboy kind of effect. They have
and the Jaguar effect. They're the only team I've ever seen. They play multiple games a year where they're double-digit dogs.
Yeah. Okay, so both on New England. This has been a pretty overwhelming on one side for both of us. We'll go Monday night game quick. Pittsburgh at San Diego minus 3. I think this could be the most fun game of the week.
Definitely.
I'm a big Rivers Chargers backer. I think that I picked them to win the AFC West before the year.
This is their time of year too. Nice and early.
Yep. So it's going to be nice and warm in San Diego on Monday evening for them, pretty much. I like San Diego minus 3. Vic didn't look good last Thursday against Baltimore. He's got over a week.
He didn't look good, but they still, they did get it done against a Baltimore team that I don't know. Maybe they are really bad, but I don't.
Baltimore won.
I understand that, but without the kicker missing 2 late field goals, that would have been. They played them tough, is what I'm saying. Like I understand, I know Baltimore, but it took 2 missed short field goals for that to happen.
Yeah. Well, Baltimore has their fair share of injuries themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, Kamar Aiken is their number 1 receiver going into this week, so.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
No.
Max Williams though at tight end.
Yeah,
Gopher dog.
He was terrible. I picked him up on both my fantasy teams, and he was awful.
Why would you pick up Baltimore's 3rd tight end?
Because he was their starting tight end.
What week?
Last week.
I guess. I mean, he did. Yeah, because what's his name was out.
Gilmore was out.
Yeah. Gilmore was out.
Yeah. So, what do you want? Are you on Pittsburgh?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this game because I obviously don't like to pick a team that has Michael Vick playing quarterback. Bryant's back this week, right? That was a 4-game suspension. That should help. Obviously, just keep handing it and dumping it to Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
And Antonio Brown, get what you can from them. Obviously, there was a little the Vick to Brown connection did not go well on Thursday. Not much there. Brown dropped a touchdown. Didn't see the ball very much. I think that probably is going to change in this game because it kind of has to.
Mm-hmm.
Brown will get some more catches, and San Diego's always been one of those teams for me that you're not quite sure what you're going to get. So it's definitely not out of the question San Diego wins this game by 2 touchdowns, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. So we'll finish up then with Green Bay is minus 9 against the Rams at Lambeau. I will be in attendance as the one of probably 5 Ram backers in the state of Wisconsin. I think the Rams cover that.
This is going to surprise you, Chuck. I think the Rams cover too.
Because the Packers' offensive line looked dreadful last week. And you now have Robert Quinn, Aaron Donald, Chris Long, Michael Brockers coming to town.
Yeah, and I think obviously Barkley looked really, really bad last week against San Francisco. And that St. Louis pass rush makes you nervous. And they don't. The part of the problem is that with Corliss out, Richard Rodgers and all the receivers that are banged up. So Corliss is out. Obviously, there's no Nelson. Cobb still looks sore. James Jones has a hamstring issue. So Richard Rodgers becomes one of the best receiving options. So it's going to be harder to have him stay in there and help Barkley out, which you need. They're going to have to do it. They're going to have to give Barkley a lot of help, I think, in this game, because you can't have Aaron Rodgers taking hits. If it takes an extra guy in protection, so be it.
Yeah.
And I think the Packers are winning this game. They're at Lambeau. There's no way they're not winning the game. But 9 points that might be asking a little much. I think they win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like oh man. I was going to say like 31-24, but I don't see the Rams scoring 24 points. So
neither do I.
24-17-ish.
But are the Packers going to get held to 24? Maybe they will cover.
Gurley, I think
that's true. Gurley had a huge week last week,
and they're going to ride him now, I think. Yeah. So,
but the Packers have been way better against the run since that Week 1 game against the Bears.
Yeah, against subpar offensive lines, but
I think for the sake of contrarianism, I'll pick the cover. I'll pick the Packers to cover that spread.
Okay. I think they very well. What? 34?
34-21.
Wow. Okay. I don't know. I think the Rams get up for the big games.
I think they get up for the big divisional games. That's what I think.
Yeah. Jeff Fisher his teams are always close enough to 500 where you can't fire him unless you're I'm really sick of him just going 9-7, 8-8, 7-9 every year, so I'm going to fire you.
Yep.
So, okay, I guess I'm on the Rams. You're on the Packers. There's a disagreement. That's all the game for this week. Anything else you want to touch on?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Any issues from this past week you want to let off your chest?
No, just that. I guess the Gopher game, but you don't want to hear it.
No, they're not very good.
No. Well, and like I've been saying for weeks, Mitch Leidner he just can't get the job done. It's that simple.
Yeah.
He's been there for years, and he has been carried by good defenses and luck, really. And just I hope that Demery Croft does play and plays well. He's got so much more potential than Leidner. Even when Philip Nelson was there, I thought he was a better option than Leidner. And Nelson was getting frustrated and obviously transferred before last season. And I'd be getting frustrated too if, they had a fullback playing quarterback in front of me. So there's my little Gopher rant.
Okay, that's good. I was about to cut you off anyway because that was about 30 seconds too long. What do you think about State and Ohio State?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about anybody at the top. Is Baylor really are they really the only
I don't know
solid top 5 team, or you still think that's just gimmicky?
I don't know. I honestly don't know because I thought Ole Miss was really good and they just got
exactly. Me too.
So
and I mean obviously Ohio State last year lost to Virginia Tech and then won the national title against 2 really good teams.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be exactly what happens again this year.
Yeah, and we're at almost the midway point. I think this is the midway point of the regular season. So I think things will start to come together. So
and those teams shouldn't see very many challenges in the Big Ten. Michigan is obviously okay. They're good. They have a really good defense. Northwestern, I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule, and they're the opposite side. Yeah. So I don't know if either one of those teams plays Northwestern, but that could be a tough thing, especially for Sparty. But
I think Sparty's about to get pegged.
Yeah, Purdue almost got him last week.
I think Michigan's going to get him next week. I've fully talked myself into going into the game. If Michigan wins this week, I am all aboard. If Michigan loses, I'm upset. Like I am fully expecting to win that game.
Yeah.
If they win this week, this is
By
a
the
big
way,
test.
yeah, this is a huge test for them because that Northwestern defense, like you said, they've beaten Stanford, they've beaten Duke.
Yeah.
They've given up. It was like 8 point something going into last week, so that's gone down because they shut out the Gophers. You know, they've given up like a touchdown a game. And Michigan's defense is kind of been the same way. They have the 2 top scoring defenses, don't they?
Yeah, Michigan has given up 7 points in the last 3 games.
Yeah. So that's going to be that'll be I guess fun one if you're into defenses, not the not what the kids like necessarily, but that's going to be an entertaining game, especially for you as a Michigan fan.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So
And well, I guess I just a quick thing on Baylor playing Kansas this week.
Record for
that
biggest favorite on the road against a conference opponent in the Big 5 conferences or whatever. 45
was the line. Yeah, they're going to cover that.
They might cover that by half.
Oh man, Kansas is so bad, and Baylor is so good.
Yeah,
and the thing about Baylor is they never I don't think they ever let off the gas until they get to at least 60.
Yeah, I agree. And then it's almost by accident, like they accidentally score half the time. So,
well, they're gonna be at like in the 40s at halftime, probably.
Yeah, at least, yeah. All right, we'll cut this off. I keep getting yelled at that they're too long, so we gotta stop rambling.
All right.
Thank you all for watching again this week. I'll be back again next week. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the football. Thanks for joining me again, Steve. And
always a pleasure, Chuck.
Have a good one. See you, folks.